welcome everybody to Kansas City wrestling action here at the Extreme Wrestling Center in Raytown, Missouri. We want to welcome everybody in to our very first edition of Extreme Extra. My name is Renee Martinez, a Night Owl, and I happen to be joined today by my co-host, Mr. Propel.
Hey, Mister. Okay, let me correct you here. You are gladly excited to be with your co-host, the wonderful, the intelligent, and downright handsome Professor Crapel.
All right, Professor Crapel. Well, we've got a great show planned for you today, and we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be covering everything that took place at Kansas City Extreme Wrestling's Destiny, and we'll also talk about where we stand in the season of Xcellence. Also, I'm pretty darn excited because we're going to be showing everybody the team captain's triple threat match that took place at Last Stand between the champion, the marksman, the big dog, and one of your former patients, Hollis Giroux.
Whoa, let's not talk about that. That brings up a little bit of bad memories. All right, but you know what we should talk about is the next show, Xcellence. And we should talk about what's coming up later on, which is the contract signing between the marksman and Captain Shabam.
Don't worry about that, Professor Crapel. We'll definitely be getting to that. And don't you think we won't cover what happened to you at Last Stand? We have a lot to cover, especially with what happened a couple of weeks back at Destiny. But first, let me explain to everybody how the KCXW Season of Xcellence actually works. The KCXW roster is divided into several teams. These team members compete against each other, and each match is worth a certain amount of points. The victor of these matches will be awarded with those points that they will take back to their team. The team with the highest number of points at the end of the season will become Season of Xcellence champion. All right, first let's go over the team that has already qualified for the final for the Season of Xcellence, and that's the Shooters. The team that is captained by your Kansas City champion, the Marksman, and also includes Johnny Rocco, Nick Vendetta, LVK, and of course, Genesis.
You know what? That is a great team, and they are in the finals right now. But let's not discount the other ones that are actually competing at Destiny to get into the finals with the Shooters. Like, for example, the Stranglers, led by Jay Savage, and one of your favorites, El Champion.
It's El Campeón.
That's what I said, El Champion. Then there's Leo Dioria. There's Liam Powers, and then there's this mysterious man by the name of Samson.
Right, and of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Force, which is led by Captain Shabam, and he's accompanied by the Bully Smasher Shannon Reed, Cornelius Weaverstone, Juno Granger, James Moore, and of course their manager, Hype Man Pinky.
But let's not forget one of the most important teams here in KCXW, the Standard. See, the Standard is led by an old friend of mine, smooth as satin David Catton. And they've got Tyler Gray, Jack Jackson, the realist Calvin Aldridge, and the unforgettable Adam James. What a team.
Up next, we're going to get into some of the tremendous action that took place at KCXW Destiny. The first match that we're going to discuss actually included a member of the Stranglers, Leo D, and a member of the Force, Shannon Reed. And this match was worth 2 points, and the victor ended up being Leo D.
You know, Renee, you're right. That was a brutal match back and forth. It went outside. It went all around the arena. You know, the one thing I was very disappointed in, as brutal as it was, nobody's face was rearranged, so they're still ugly. So, there's that.
Okay, well, moving right along, we're going to discuss a match that was worth 1 point that pit the realist, Calvin Aldridge from the Standard, versus Liam Power of the Stranglers. Now, these two young guys are currently training at the Extreme Wrestling Center And I must say, for as talented as they are, particularly the realist, he tends to be a little bit cocky and arrogant, if you ask me.
First of all, it's the realist. The enunciation is key here. Second of all, he's not cocky, he's confident. And confidence wins matches. And you know what? He won his match. So when you talk about the realist, let's talk about the winner.
Well, speaking of winners, we had a very high stakes elimination tag team match that was actually worth 4 points between the Force, the Standard, and the Stranglers. The Force, of course, was represented by James Moore and Cornelius Weaverstone. Then we had the Standard represented by Jack Jackson and Tyler Gray. And last but not least, we had the Stranglers that were represented by Samson and El Campeón.
You mean El Champion?
Whatever.
Alright, it was a wonderful match, and this really was a make or break match for all these teams. The winner of this match definitely got a push for their team. And that winner was James Moore and Cornelius Weaverstone of the Force.
Well, up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have the triple threat elimination match between the team captains. One of those captains involved in the match was from the Standard, and that was the veteran, Smooth as Satin David Catton, and he faced off against the Forces, Captain Shabam, and of course the Stranglers, Jay Savage. Now, this was a very, very interesting match because all three of these guys have been involved with the season of Xcellence from the very beginning, and ultimately our winner was Smooth as Satin David Catton, whom you've had quite a bit of history with.
Yes, some good, some bad, but history nonetheless. No, it was a great match between the three captains, really showing each other why they deserve to have that title of captain in their name for their team. And you're right, Smooth as Satin did come out as victorious, but as we'll find out later, was it enough?
Well, I appreciate your input, Professor Coppell, but now it's time to actually get into the point totals coming off of KCXW's Destiny. We're going to start off with the Standard, who earned 5 points at Destiny and ended the season with a total of 9 points. But unfortunately, that resulted in them getting eliminated. Then we had the Stranglers that earned only 2 points at Destiny, which brought their season total to 10 points, and unfortunately for them, they also ended up eliminated. Finally, we had the Force that earned a total of 4 points at Destiny, which brought their season total to 12 points, meaning they advanced to the finals and will face off against the Shooters at KCXW's Xcellence. Now that we've brought everybody up to date with the season of Xcellence scores, coming off of KCXW Destiny, I would be remiss if we didn't discuss the main event of Destiny. The main event had a very special guest referee in Angel Medina. Of course, we had your Kansas City champion of the Shooters, the Marksman, against JC Thunder, the former champion, who was accompanied by President Smiley and Toa.
Who doesn't love President Smiley? And Toa.
Right. And for good reason. The Marksman was accompanied to the ring by his teammate and old buddy, Johnny Rocco.
Yeah, they could have done without him.
Well, I think it ended up being a good thing, Coppell, because in this match, outside the ring, we saw quite a bit of activity where Toa and Johnny Rocco ended up locking horns and were thrown out of the match by our special guest referee, Angel Medina.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but if Johnny Rocco wasn't in the match to begin with, there would have been no fight. It would have been great.
Well, that said, Professor Coppell, those two gentlemen were escorted away from ringside under the orders of Angel Medina, but President Smiley remained. And as this match kicked off, JC Thunder wasn't necessarily ready to lock horns inside the ring. He made his way outside the ring, the Marksman followed, And JC Thunder, like the veteran he is, took advantage of the situation and bounced the marksman's head off of one of the steel poles like a Mexican jumping bean.
If JC Thunder throwing him off of a steel beam can't fix him, I don't know if I can.
Well, I'll tell you what, Professor Coppell, this match earned the main event spot because it was absolutely intense. These men obviously have tons of ill will towards each other, and it was reflected in the result.
You know, speaking of result, it was a terrible decision. Look at who we had as the guest referee. Angel Medina. Slow counts, tying his shoes in the middle where he should be counting the 3. JC Thunder was easily the winner of that match had it not been for Angel Medina.
Despite how you may feel about it, Professor Coppell, the winner and still our champion going to our biggest show of the year, Xcellence, is the Marksman. But the action did not come to a conclusion when the bell rung because we did have Hollis Giroux.
Do we have to talk about that man? Can we skip on to the next part?
Unfortunately, this is exactly what we're here for, and that's what the fans of KCXW want to hear about. So, unless you were at the show, you probably don't know that Hollis attacked, once again, our champion from behind in order to make some sort of statement, which he's been trying to do for well over a year now. Now that we've covered that incredible main event at Destiny, I wanted to make sure that I reminded everybody that we do have an on-demand streaming service that's available at kcwrestling.com. Just visit the link below in the description for more information on that and to start your 30-day free trial. Now I have the pleasure of introducing tonight's feature match, which was the team captain's triple threat between the big dog of the pack, Hollis Giroux of the Serpents, and our Kansas City champion, the Marksman of the Shooters.
Your winner, the Marksman. gentlemen, the Impact. Ladies and gentlemen,
Now, Professor Coppell, that we've had an opportunity to watch that outstanding match, I want to get your thoughts.
Terrible. I didn't like it at all. There's no reason though that we should show any more of that footage. Let's go on to something else. Wouldn't it be great if we went on to something else? I know that you want to see something else, right?
No. I think that footage is exactly what the fans want to see. And you know what? Aside from the marksman coming out the winner, it looks like you, sir, got the worst end of that situation with Hollis Giroux, because not only were you attacked, you were also fired as manager of the Serpents.
I wasn't fired. We had a disagreement that ended up a little, well, let's say physical.
A little physical, Professor Coppell. Unfortunately, that's fake news. Now we've reached a point in the show where we're going to talk about the biggest show of the year for Kansas City Extreme Wrestling. That's right, folks. We're talking about Xcellence, which is going to take place on December 9th at the State Street Project, which is 1017 North 9th Street in Kansas City, Kansas. Some of the feature matches, as we've discussed, is going to be the Force versus the Shooters for the Season of Excellence Championship. And then, of course, we will have our championship match between the Marksman and Captain Shabam. And we're actually getting ready to show you guys the contract signing between those two men.
I'm President Smiley, and I'm here at the Extreme Wrestling Center for a very important moment, a contract signing for the main event at Xcellence on December 9th at the State Street Project in Kansas City, Kansas. I'm here with the team captains of the Force and the Shooters, who I don't particularly like either one of them, but nonetheless, we're here to do this, and we're going to do it professionally and get the job done. Marksman, do you have a few words today?
It's gonna be real fun facing you again. Last year, the Stranglers beat you and your team. Now I've got my own team, Team Shooters. I just want to know, how's it gonna feel to lose twice?
Okay, we've heard from the Marksman now. Captain Shabam.
Marksman, you and I are no strangers to the top. We both made it there last year. The difference is, last year you followed. I led. So this year, you come along thinking that you can play leader, that you can lead a team the same way you followed the team into greatness last year. The Force learned from our mistakes. The Force learned from our trials. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we're a little bit stronger this year. We're a little bit faster. We're a little bit better. So I'm getting back to the top of the mountain again. But make no mistake, Marksman, this time I'm walking home with the glory.
All right, gentlemen, and I use that term loosely. Let's sign this. Let's get this over with. Marksman. All right, it's done. Damage is done.
That's real interesting, Shabam. But I have to ask you another question. Do you know what it means to aim high and shoot low?
It tells me it has something to do with the fact that you guys are underhanded enough to go for any obstacle that you can just to secure the win. You're not worried about the door. You're not worried. December, marksman!
Well, that went well, as always.
Non-stop action here at Kansas City Extreme Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you make your way over to kcwrestling.com to buy your discounted advance tickets for the Xcellence show. Again, taking place at the State Street Project, December 9th. That's 1017 North 9th Street in Kansas City, Kansas.
And I want to personally thank all of our sponsors for sponsoring Extreme Extra. That is KC Anthem Studios, The Rope Rebound, Farmers Insurance, and the XWC, the Extreme Wrestling Center. My name's Professor Crapel, and I'm here with Renee Martinez.
It's Martinez.
Sure, whatever. And we hope you have had an awesome day. And remember to subscribe, like our page, and share on all social media so we can get the word out of KCXW.
Absolutely want to thank all you guys for joining us tonight. We will see you down at the State Street Project on December 9th. The Night Owl, Professor Crapel, signing off.